Ladies and gentlemen, how are we all doing? Here today, I'm going to give you guys my SmackDown review for July 31st, 2020. This show, overall, the main thing that everyone's talking about is this ending. Now, if you're watching this review and you're not aware of what happened at the end of the show, basically, I'll get into it now because this is what everyone cares about. This is the thing that everyone's clickbaiting in their reviews, and I'm going to do it too. The Fiend, Bray Wyatt, attacking Alexa Bliss. Now, the main event of this show was Nikki Cross challenging Bayley for the SmackDown Women's title. The match was good. It was an entertaining match. Nothing super special, but definitely an alright, good match. And afterwards, so Bayley retains. Afterwards, Nikki Cross, Alexa Bliss is in there. Alexa Bliss is like, oh, Nikki, you're okay, just, make sure everything's going well. Nikki Cross proceeds to shove down Alexa Bliss. Nikki Cross storms off. Then the Fiend's music hits. The Fiend literally is standing behind Alexa Bliss. Alexa Bliss is just sitting there not moving, which was a bit dumb, but I'm not going to nitpick that much. Then the Fiend is standing there for a minute, and then he puts his glove in her mouth. So, yeah, we get the Fiend doing the mandible claw on Alexa Bliss. That was a really good ending, and really, I'm really happy they did that ending because I prefer a mediocre SmackDown episode, but an ending like that that's a big talking point, something that generates interest, something that makes you guys care. You guys, if you're watching this review and you didn't watch SmackDown, it's because you're interested about what happened with The Fiend and this ending with Alexa Bliss. Most weeks on SmackDown and wrestling in general, we don't have that. So I'm really happy they did this ending. I'm now actually interested to see where they go from here. Personally, do you make Nikki Cross the sidekick to The Fiend? Do you have a psycho Nikki Cross? Or, because are you going to do a Fiend and Nikki Cross versus Braun Strowman and Alexa Bliss match? I can see them doing that. I mean, that'd be something. It would make Nikki Cross a heel, a psycho. You can have The Fiend, Braun Strowman, Alexa Bliss. I think there's plenty of room to go with this. It's something fun. It's interesting. It's building up The Fiend versus Braun Strowman at SummerSlam for the Universal title, which, if that match is anything but The Fiend walking out champion, I swear to God. So that was basically the main thing to talk about. The main event match for the SmackDown Women's title, that was worth a look, I guess. So basically, that excluded, that ending with The Fiend attacking Alexa Bliss taken out of consideration. Was the rest of this SmackDown episode good? Personally, I thought it was watchable, If you're someone who didn't watch SmackDown, should you go back and watch SmackDown, the full episode? No. Here's what I did, and here's what I think you should do. Watch the YouTube clips for SmackDown. Watch a couple of YouTube clips. Watch the clip of The Fiend attacking Alexa Bliss. Watch the one of Bayley versus Nikki Cross. And watch the one with Big E versus The Miz, because I think Big E's fantastic. And you should check out the Mandy Rose, Sonia Deville backstage thing. So we got this, Big E versus The Miz. Big E in singles action. You might be thinking, why should I care? It's just a Big E versus The Miz match. Personally, I'm just really interested by Big E. I made the video why he should be Universal Champion. I think Big E is fantastic. Watching him in singles action was really cool. One complaint during this match, this is very petty, but it'll entertain you guys. Basically, during the match, so Miz slaps Big E. Big E goes, just goes nuts on the Miz. Big E takes Miz round ringside, tosses him into the barricade and whatnot for a little bit. They get back, Big E throws Miz back into the ring. The referee is conscious of this. He checks on the Miz, and then literally 25 seconds later, he goes to look at the outside again, because he's been checking on the Miz. He looks at the outside, and Big E is laid out, because John Morrison's jumped off the stairs and kicked Big E in the face. How stupid does that make the ref look? It's very, mini side tangent. Big E ended up winning with, what's this move called? The stretch muffler? Or something like that. He won with this submission where he, worked on the knee of the Miz. So, yeah, really good stuff. The match was entertaining from the bits I watched. Genuinely, I think it's kind of worth your time. So, that was the Big E and the Miz match. Big E has such a bright future. Big E versus John Morrison, they're probably going to do next week. I think that'll be a lot of fun. I can't wait to see Big E versus John Morrison. Should be entertaining. So, that was that match. The rest of the show, the next most important thing that's worth you guys' attention, worth you guys' interest, the stuff with Mandy Rose and Sonia Deville. So, this week was the first week where Mandy Rose and Otis were back on screen in like 5 weeks. Literally, Otis won Money in the Bank, and the whole thing was, Otis has Money in the Bank, the briefcase, and he has the girl, Mandy Rose. But then they've just been taken off TV for 4 or 5 weeks. Now, I'm assuming it's because of COVID. It has to be because of that. And If not, then I don't know what the situation's been. Otis tonight didn't even have the briefcase with him. So, like, what are they doing? Like, it really makes you think why they gave Otis the Money in the Bank briefcase. Now, I'm saying this now, perhaps Otis does some legendary cash-in or legendary moment with the briefcase, and I have to take that back, but Otis is Mr. Money in the Bank, and he couldn't feel less important. Meanwhile, Mandy Rose did this whole thing with Sonia Deville, where Mandy's, like, in the mirror putting on lipstick, and then Sonia Deville ambushes her, attacks her, puts lipstick all over her face, cuts her hair, throws Mandy into the table. That was good. Sonia Deville is just great. I think Sonia Deville, wherever you can get her to be a SmackDown or Raw Women's Champion, however you can make that happen, I think you need to. Like, maybe moving Sonia Deville to Raw, I think that'd be cool. Like, you have Sonia Deville come to Raw and beat maybe Asuka or Liv Morgan for the title. I think that'd be cool, because Sonia Deville on SmackDown, if you're having Sasha Banks win the SmackDown Women's title in the next month or two, I think, then Sonya Deville feels out of place. She's a heel. So I don't know what you do with Sonya Deville. She should be in the championships conversation, I feel like, because this Mandy feud, it's still going. Like, we're the last day of July now. This feud is still going, and it's going to go for probably another month. They're probably going to do Mandy versus Sonya at SummerSlam, which Sonya should win, but if they have Mandy win, I'm not going to throw a hissy fit. So that was that. The other thing I think that's worth noting, we got a match with Baron Corbin and Drew Gulak. I know what you're thinking. Who cares? I didn't really care either. But the ending, Riddle came out, and then Riddle is like beating up Corbin after Corbin beat Gulak. And then Shorty G comes down. Mr. Rise and Grind over size. Shorty G, he comes down. And I was like, okay, what are they doing here? So Shorty G has aligned himself with Baron Corbin, which is, I guess, a callback to the King of the Ring final and the feud they had in like October last year. I guess. I don't really care. So that was that. And then the other thing that's worth noting, well, for one, Sheamus cut a promo basically saying he's done with Jeff Hardy, and Jeff Hardy can lose to alcohol on his own time, and Sheamus can focus on other guys. We also got, Cesaro and Nakamura throwing a party, which in other words was them saying, we have no tag teams, here's a segment for our tag team champions this week. That was a waste of time. And then this thing, we got AJ Styles opening the show, defending the Intercontinental Championship against Grand Metalik. If you thought Grand Metalik was winning the title, then stay off the weed. This match was good. It was what you'd expect from a Styles and Metalik match on a SmackDown. It wasn't a 5-star blow-away classic, but it was a good match. Styles retained, as you'd expect. I don't think anyone thought anything else would happen, so that was that. And then we got this visual, like a backstage segment with the Golden Role Models, Bayley and Sasha Banks. This whole thing with them holding 4 titles, I'm not going to say it's getting old, but I'm not a big fan of them holding 4 belts. Like, it was cool for like a week or two, but them holding 4 titles, it's just overkill, dude. It's just overkill. So, yeah, that's been the video. Hopefully you guys have enjoyed. If you have, be sure to like, comment, sub, because on the drill. Road to 700 subs. It's so close. Like, comment, sub, because on the drill. See ya.